Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about a whole platter of things. The first main subject is the potential of Chaos Primaris Space Marines. Since Fabius Bile, has returned, is returning in a new model format. What does that mean for the Primaris? He's definitely took interest in those beings. And of course, Fabius Bile himself is going to be another subject. What does his return in War of the Spider mean? What could he possibly be getting up to? And thirdly, I want to talk about the potential return of maybe Emperor's Children and the Primarch Fulgrim, because there's been some hints in the Psychic Awakening about Fulgrim's return as a demonic Primarch and also the Emperor's Children as a whole. So let's jump in and let's get talking. So the first subject I want to talk about is the potential of Chaos Primaris Space Marines. Yes, this old chestnut. We know the Primaris Marines are in full effect now on the Space Marine, the Loyalist side, let's say. Now, will that start affecting Chaos with their gene seed and everything like that? I do know that Fabius Bile has took a massive interest in the Primaris project. Now, when we talk about Fabius Bile, we have to talk about him in a sense where he's basically the I won't use the word evil, because evil is a mixed term in 40k, but he is the opposite of Belisarius Cawl. He's basically like his same level of intellect, I would say, when it comes to flesh crafting, and he could easily turn Primaris or use Primaris in the Chaos sense. And what I mean by that is that Fabius Bile was able to clone Primarchs. If he's able to make Primarchs, surely Primaris Marines shouldn't be that much of a hurdle for him. And the text that backs this up, that shows interest in Primaris Marines from Fabius Bile, is called the Primogenitor Primaris. This is taken straight from the Chaos Space Marine Codex. It's loaded in the background now in case you want to read along with me, but it says, the deranged Fleshmaster Fabius Bile is upon the world of Afgraphane Excelia, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, when he witnesses a strike force of Primaris Space Marines in action. Attacking from above, a strike force from the newly founded Nemesis chapter, that's a really cool name, takes a fortified Black Legion Bastion complex in the space of an hour. Impressed despite himself, Bile develops an obsession with the capture and dissection of these warriors. His intent is to blend them body and soul with the dark energies of chaos in order to breed his own twisted versions of Primaris Space Marines. So from that text, you get a bit of an idea of what he has planned for the Primaris. He wants to do what Fabius Bile does best. He wants to go and twist it around, make his own little versions, as it says here, blend them with the dark energies of chaos. I think that if this does happen, that I don't think it's going to be a one-for-one reference. Like, you're not going to see like a Primaris Marine with a couple of spikes on him and just to make him different from what we have now for Primaris. I think that they're going to be more twisted, more mutated, more hulking beast, kind of like possessed, but not really possessed, but that kind of outcome, really. I don't think it's just going to be, as I said, just a couple of spikes just to make them chaos-fied. I really do think that Fabius Bile will go in and just mutate them in and blend them in like weird S type of ways. Now, the next bit of text really, for me, sells it that this eventually is going to happen, and this is called the Clone Father. And again, this is taken from the Chaos Space Marine Codex as well. So it says, the Clone Father: the shattered traitor legions making their home in the Eye of Terror have a particular need of Fabius Bile's skills. His augmented warriors and biomagics can give a warband a vital edge, and clone warriors and slaves are put to good use on 100 battlefields. Yet it was for the skills of Bile once learned as an apothecary of the Emperor's Children that are most precious to the Lords of Chaos. The traitor legions need the ability to extract the progenoid glands of the fallen in order to create new Space Marines, and in the strange art, Bile is undoubtedly the preeminent. Without such skills, the long war would slowly grind to a halt, and the fires that Horus had lit would go out forever. With so much influence at his behest, Fabius Bile has negotiated cunning, if fragile, bargains with demonic Primarchs, selling his secrets to each of them, but refusing to aid one more than the other. In this way, the Primogenitor ensures his position at the heart of the web of influence that spans across the Eye of Terror and beyond. Of late, now this is the really important bit, of late, he has used his leverage to a singular end, the capture of Primaris Space Marines sighted across the galaxy. His fondest desire is to harvest the generic bounty of Primarch Guilliman himself. Now, from what I got from that text is, of course, Fabius Bile is at the heart of all things, especially traitor-wise. He is the go-to guy when it comes to genes and, extracting, just all the mad science you expect when it comes to Chaos and Space Marines and stuff like that. But as I stated, the important bit is right at the end. I now personally think that he is basically selling the secrets of the Primaris to the traitor, or should I say demonic Primarchs, for them to start making their own versions of the Primaris Space Marines to start smashing out and then going against what Guilliman has set up now with this whole brand new Indominus Crusade, his new era of, the Ultima founding, all the new warriors that have come to, or should I say, under his command. Fabius Bile is taking that, he's twisting it in his own little ways, and he's selling it bit by bit to the different demonic Primarchs for them to start making their own things and then to battle Guilliman with it. I really do think in a couple of years that we will start seeing Chaos Primaris Space Marines, not only for the lore sense, but I also think there's a big thing in it for the IP as well. I know a lot of people don't really think about the IP, but what GW have been doing, ever since Age of Sigmar really, have been changing the IP to their copyright. So, for example, Orcs or Urks and stuff like that, Space Marines are more or less going to Primaris Marines because that is their copyright. Then you can't really copyright Space Marine, but you can copyright Primaris Marine because that is their own little thing. And that's what I think it's going to be, Primaris Chaos Marines. I think that's what it'll eventually turn to, just for the old IP issues, so they can completely own the rights to that. Anyway, that's enough of my opinion. Let's move on to Fabius Bile, or Fabulous Bill, as everyone calls him on the interwebs these days, because if you haven't been watching the internet over the past 24 hours, Fabius is returning, and he is going to be returning in glorious, glorious fashion. He's going to be returning in a book called The War of the Spider, which is really, really interesting because I've always liked Fabius Bile. I think Fabius Bile is an absolute great character. Me, as a Space Marine, I absolutely hate Chaos. I do. As a loyalist, I absolutely hate them. I think they're just so bad. They're awful. They betrayed the Emperor. But every time I read about Fabius Bile, especially in the books that he's already had, and there's some fantastic books out there, by the way, Clone Lord and the Primogenitor series, and there's a third one coming out, and the name escapes me at the moment. But those books really made me love Fabius Bile. He is absolutely amazing character. He hates Chaos as much as I hate Chaos. So really, we have a kind of a connection, me and Bill, when it comes to this kind of stuff. And also, the way he views Abaddon and stuff like that is always hilarious. He views him as a child and stuff. It's really, really good. And just the way he goes around and does his stuff, it's all very selfish. It's already motivated by, it's just him, and that's what I like about it. He's not in it for the bigger S type of picture when it comes to like Chaos or anything like that, which you normally find with most Chaos aligned factions, that they're doing it for their gods or to gain more power. He's not. He's doing it to gain more knowledge. He thinks Space Marines and all that have basically had their day, and he's trying to make like this new mutated type of human race, which is more powerful than Chaos Space Marines or Space Marines or the Imperium and stuff like that. He's trying to better humanity in his own little twisted way. So I am really looking forward to now his actual book and what he's going to be doing in that book. Yes, they've teased the model. The model looks fantastic from what we can see. I actually think the model is going to be taken from this piece of art. It's been posted around the interwebs of late, just like they did with Mephiston and stuff like that. You can kind of see some of his menials, let's say, in the background. I know a lot of people are talking about the Glanhounds and stuff like that. Are they going to be a part of this? Hopefully so. The Glanhounds are really, really awesome if you've read the books. The way they move in packs and rip Space Marines apart. They can be very, very deadly. They're basically like anti-Space Marines, but they have to work together. It's kind of hard going against one Space Marine. But yeah, that's a whole other subject for another bloody time. I'm just rambling on at the moment. But yes, I'm really looking forward to this War of the Spider book. It's going to be interesting to see who is actually facing against. Now, in the actual books themselves, the Harlequins are a main factor when it comes to Fabius Bile. They're singing a song behind the scenes. They're trying to force him on the path. So I'm thinking, could we potentially see Harlequins, Fabius Bile, and maybe another faction? Let's say, I don't know, Necrons. Necrons had a big part to play in one of the books when it came to Clone Lord. I'm not going to go into spoilers because it's amazing. You should really pick it up. So I'm wondering maybe could be Harlequins, Necrons, and Fabius Bile in there doing his stuff. But for me, I think it's down to more of the lore side of what he's actually going to be creating. Going back to the first point, I really want to see his view on the Prime Era Space Marines. I really want to see what he's done, what he intends to do. How is he going to make these so-called monsters, cutting them apart, ripping up Call's work and that kind of stuff. That is what really interests me, is the actual lore side of this. So I'm actually cannot wait. Hopefully at Adepticon on the 25th, that's if it still goes ahead. We don't know with this bloody Corona thing. I know it's still 2 weeks out, but we shall see, let's say. Hopefully he's going to get a little bit more attention there, maybe an actual full-on model reveal, and maybe some background in it on who he's going to be fighting in the actual book. And I think that would be a great little addition to the show. And lastly, let's just talk about quickly the Emperor's Children and the potential of Fulgrim's, well, demonic Fulgrim's return. Now, the Emperor's Children are a faction that a lot of people want. The Emperor's Children and the World Eaters haven't had their love in bloody God knows. We've had Nurgle, we've had Tzeentch, they've had all their Metal Rangers. They look fantastic, they look amazing, but people want love for Slaanesh, and they want love for Khorne when it comes to the Space Marine, should I say Chaos Space Marine format, and we haven't had that. But there are some hints out there that the Emperor's Children are circling the drain, let's say, and the potential of them returning has been hinted at. Some in the Psychic Awakening, some in the Gathering Storm as well. So let's look at the first piece of text, which is from the Psychic Awakening book, which kind of hints of Fulgrim's return. Now, this piece of text is taken from Echoes of the Awakening. It's on page 21 of the Faith and Fire Psychic Awakening book, and this is like a Vox message that was intercepted, and of course by the Inquisition, and it's been, of course, Inquisitionist, let's say. So it says, hear this, you simpering lapdogs, you servile dull creatures. Always makes me laugh. The Illuminator is coming. Yadaris is but the first brushstroke upon the grand canvas. He is coming, and with him comes an endless carnival of sensation. So the Illuminator, for those of you who don't know, is a nickname for Fulgrim, and the carnival sensation and all that kind of stuff is the kinky stuff and the sensation of what the Emperor's Children feel and all the weird stuff that they go up to. It goes on to say, Vox transmission hails from the Cathedrum of the Ashen Heart on Ortus Prime. No response along the priority channels. Multiple heretic warships sighted, traversing the Cascar Nebula on a path towards Black Mantle. Iconography matches of the Emperor's Children excommunicata traitoris. So basically it's saying that this hail came from an Emperor's Children ship or fleet, and they're spouting stuff like the Illuminator's coming. So if we put one and one together, it's basically the Emperor's Children, and they're saying, hey, Fulgrim's about to come, and we're going to get all the sensation and stuff like that. So that is one hint that Fulgrim is possibly returning as the next demonic Primarch, and of course the more information that the Emperor's Children are circling the drain as well, and they're about to pop out. Another sighting of the Emperor's Children fleet is again taken from Ritual of the Damned, and this is taken from the Echoes of Awakening page, and again it's a Vox report, Ordo Hereticus, and it says, we have been tracking a heretic Astartes fleet of the Emperor's Children Traitor Legion for several months. Whilst unusual, their movement patterns have not been erratic. What is more disturbing is that the vulnerable worlds have been bypassed. None of us in all our experience have ever witnessed such a force ignore the defenseless. They have paused only to harry Eldari Corsairs in the, it says redacted, despite greater numbers, they have not destroyed them. We have reason to believe this failure is intentional. The question is why. So the Emperor's Children are in a fleet and they're doing things, and no one knows why they're avoiding these worlds where they shouldn't be avoiding, because helpless civilians and stuff like that is it's like perfect things for the Emperor's Children. They go down, they skin them all, they wear the skin, they get pleasure from it all, what they bloody do with the rest of the stuff. But they're not, they're just avoiding it all. As it says there, they harried some Eldari Corsairs, because of course Eldar are probably too much of a prize to let go because of their souls and Slaanesh and everything like that. But why? Where are they going? I really do think that something big is coming. What that will be, I have absolutely no idea. But don't forget, the Psychic Awakening is slowly coming to an end now. We've only got a couple of books left. So is this kind of hinting at the next stage of what's going to be coming in the so-called narrative for Warhammer 40,000? Because once that is finished, the Psychic Awakening, surely GW will have to give us something else. They want to sell more products and stuff, just like what we've had with the Psychic Awakening. I definitely think there's going to be like another campaign like this for them to sell more books, just like what we had with Vigilus, and then we moved on to Psychic Awakening. For the Psychic Awakening, we'll move on to something else. Maybe it won't be as big as a Psychic Awakening, but maybe it'll be like, 2 or 3 books, just like we got with the Vigilus stuff, but maybe at like a brand new Battlefield, and then maybe this is where the Emperor's Children will come out and we'll get a load of new stuff a part of that. Alright, Chaperoonios, that is me done for another video. Thank you for coming, thank you for watching as always. Yes, Fabius Bile is definitely coming back. I'm really, really excited. Chaos Primaris Space Marines, I don't really want it to happen, but I think eventually it will happen. It's just the way it is narrative-wise, Fabius Bile ripping things apart. And with the Emperor's Children and the possible return of Fulgrim, I would absolutely love that for you Chaos players, because I know that you want that kind of stuff. New Noise Marines and stuff like that. Yes, that's all going to be fun in the sun, and that means more stuff for me to purge on the battlefield, so it's going to be great. Right, thank you for coming, thank you for watching as always. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, leave it below in the comment section and we'll have a nice little talk down there as always. See you now, have a great day, and bye bye.